Hello, my name is Rich Howard, owner of Architectural Builders Supply, and this video is to bring you a closer look at the transatlantic number Ed-Lhl500Ic Us26D entry function lever trim for an exit device with an interchangeable core and a satin chrome finish. So this is a interchangeable core. This is what is called small format. Looking at the detailed description below the video, it's rather generic and quite frankly not exactly correct for this specific trim, but let's go over it now. This is a pardon me, a 500 series trim. That means that it's going to work on their ED501 exit devices, their industry standard exit device. The 500 also means that this is an entrance function, meaning that you can, it's more, in my opinion, properly called a classroom function, because you can leave this unlocked, as it is now, as a passage, or lock it, and then you would need a key, of course, to be able to enter again. Well, no, it's an entrance function because you would need to leave it locked. So you can set it as a passage and it will work until you come back and lock it, and then it's locked. And then you would require a key to get back in. I suppose it would be a classroom in that regard as well. The application for this, with terminology aside, is you have a service door on your auto shop. You've got a steel door where the clients can come in, pick up the vehicle, that sort of thing. Exit device on that back service door. Interchangeable core, because that's the system that you have. You want to have interchangeable core keying system in your facility. That allows the person with the control key to be able to quickly remove the core and insert a new core, thereby changing the keys that work the lock in an incredibly fast fashion, as quickly as I just said it. So during the day, anyway, the function, you come, as the owner, you come to work, you unlock the door, set it into the passage mode like it is now with the key, and then clients can come in all day and just exit. End of the day, lock it up, and then you're finished. And then it's rigid. Okay, that's a typical application for this. Versus the storeroom function, which you can also get, that'd be a 580. That means it's always locked. That may not be appropriate for your application. It'd be appropriate if it was an emergency exit. You wanted trim on the outside because you were going to come in from this different door, let's say this back door, where you'd be able to, get to without having to go through that side of the building, but you would never leave it unlocked, and you would purposefully want that trim to be always locked. You always need a key to come in. So, typical lever trim, the 26D is a reference obviously to the finish. ADA compliant handle. Because it's transatlantic, that means it's going to have some very familiar pieces. The mounting plate that you're going to use, the two screws that you'll use, that push pin you would not use with this at all, but because this hardware pack is with all their other trim, you'd be getting it. Those two bolts will go through the two holes and will hold the trim onto the door, and then your exit device goes over this. You might need to trim that tailpiece down, probably not. Now, because this is interchangeable core, you're going to get a tailpiece and then a spring, and this spring is used part and parcel with the installation process of your interchangeable core. Now, there's a link below this video to the installation instructions, and page 1 is the large page. It's the template. This is going to the preparation is going to behave to a proper 2 1/8 hole, 2 3/4 back set. It'll be compliant with that. You will need the holes at 12 6 as drawn, 5/16 of a hole diameter, and that's for these two studs that are here. And don't remove those. Leave them in, drill the holes, because especially with this piece of hardware, you can get a lot of torque, rotational torque on this. And if you don't have those pins at 12 6 to keep that chassis from moving, over time you're going to put undue pressure on the lock case, and so much so that you'll bend the tailpiece, and the exit device will not be fully latching the door when it's closed. So take the time and drill those holes. It's real easy. Mark them off, center punch them, drill them, and you'd be in good shape. You've got a little bit of margin there, so if you over drill it slightly, it won't be a problem. The balance of the installation instructions just simply goes over pictorially the installation aspect. Trim from the outside, your plate comes in, your 2 screws, you're done. Cut the tailpiece should you need to. Be very careful when you're putting the exit device down and over that tailpiece. You want to hold it down there and rotate the outside and make sure everything works correctly, that you don't hear or feel any binding. If you do, cut that. It says 3/16 projection from the face of the door is what's necessary. I would do a reality check on that before I cut anything. Page 2 of the installation instructions is the interchangeable core portion, which if you have an interchangeable core system already, you're fully familiar with this. There is no differentiation between a 6-pin and a 7-pin cylinder in this example. And I've not installed both into one of these trims, so I don't know if there's a problem with that. It's shown as installing the spring like this for both instances. So proceed accordingly. The line A says first select 6 or 7-pin cylinder required and follow the installation to assemble parts, tailpiece and spring ring with the cylinder. There's no other mention about doing anything different should it be 6 or 7-pin. So proceed cautiously. It's probably not an issue, and that spring is probably there just to be able to allow you to either install a 6-pin or a 7-pin. I'm sure that's how that works. Now, the name Transatlantic is synonymous with, in my definition, very good quality imported builders hardware. Whether that's hinges, door closers, lock sets, or exit devices, and many other items. And there's a link below this video to the manufacturer page where you can pull up their full line catalog and review all things Transatlantic. That name has been here in Chicago known quite widely. Everybody knows it as TACO, Transatlantic Company, and people come to rely on their closers. It's quite frankly one of the best imported door closer and exit device that I've ever sold in all my years, and I stand behind it. And I think if you're looking for a very good performing exit device and don't want to spend a tremendous amount of money, it's a great way to go. The only time I had one fail is when someone called and said it broke. It didn't work anymore, and I said, I just delivered it yesterday. I don't know, it stopped working. Well, I went to the job site. The installer welded the exit device to the door. Welded it, no screws. There was so much heat, 2,000 degrees, that it melted one of the internal springs. That was the only time I can think of that one of their exit devices failed. So we sold the fella a new exit device. Anyway, if you have any questions on the Transatlantic Lhl500Ic Us26D interchangeable core lever exit device or any other Transatlantic product, please feel free to reach out to us. Thank you.